Hey, y'all, welcome back to the channel. I want to open up just by saying a big thank you to everybody who liked and commented on my last snuff review video. I really appreciate the support, guys, so thank you so much. The snuff I'm going to be looking at today is Wilson's of Sharrow, Grand Cairo. Something that I really like about nasal snuff is that there's a lot of history to it. And you'll notice with a lot of the older snuffs that we take, that they're often named after different cities. And some people wonder, well, why do they do that? Because you can't really tell from Bordeaux how that's supposed to smell. I mean, it's not obvious like an apricot or a peach or some, other name that tells you exactly what the stuff is scented with. But the idea behind these snuffs that are named after cities is that they were perfumed in such a way as to evoke these certain locations. And so if somebody had traveled to those cities, when they were back home, they could take the snuff and kind of reminisce on their travels. And for a lot of people that didn't have the means to travel, they could go down to their local tobacco shop and they could get a container of Seville or Makaba or Cairo, and they could kind of imagine how these places must be. And it's kind of a quaint idea, but I still think it's there's something romantic about it, and it's still charming even today. Now, this snuff, Grand Cairo, it's classified as what we call SPs, SP snuffs, and that basically means all SP snuffs, they're scented with bergamot. That's the main thing. And then you also get other citrus notes. Some of them have floral scents in them. There's a little bit of debate over what SP stands for. But the best explanation I've read is that SP, and I read this off the website Modern Snuff, but SP stands for a tobacco manufacturing firm from the 18th century called Sales and Pollard. And they started in the 1750s, and by the 1770s, they were the largest tobacco firm in England. And a lot of the other manufacturers were trying to, get in on their success. So they were trying to replicate their best-selling snuff, which was a bergamot snuff. And so eventually, all bergamot snuffs just started being called SPs. Kind of like we call face tissue. We usually call it Kleenex, even though Kleenex is a specific brand of face tissue. We just use the brand name generically for all of them. It's kind of the same thing with SP. Some people have said that this SP, Grand Cairo, that it's an 18th century recipe. And I couldn't really find anything online about when the origins of the recipe, when it started. But I speculate this isn't an 18th century, but it's actually a 19th century snuff. And the reason I say that is because in the 19th century, you have a surge of interest in Egypt, especially in England and France. And this is because Napoleon had started some expeditions into Egypt in the early 1800s. I think maybe 1809 is when he started. But and the French government were publishing studies of things that they would find on Egyptian history and architecture and culture. And people in Europe and in America started a movement called Egyptian Revival, and you sometimes see Egyptian Revival architecture. It influenced French furniture at the time, and I think this snuff is just another example of that Egyptian Revival movement. Alright, let me get into the actual snuff now. It's very strong scented. The tin has a very strong lemon and orange scent, kind of neck and neck. There is a bergamot. This is an SP. There is bergamot, but it's not bergamot forward. That's not the predominant scent. You get it's not overpowering, but it's a very strong lemon orange scent. And there's also some floral in it and some spice too, but the main note is citrus. It really kind of punches you right in the face, that citrus note. Let me see if I can get some out to show you. Now, I got this snuff in a tap tin originally. I decanted it into this little glass jar, but because I got it in a tap tin, I think it's a little more on the dry side than it would otherwise be if I got it in a regular canister. So just take that under consideration. All right. So I think this is a medium brown, reddish snuff, and it's on the dry side of medium, but like I said, if you get this in a regular canister instead of a tap tin, you might have a more moist snuff. And it's a medium grind also. In the nose, you get even less of the bergamot. Bergamot is a really volatile scent, so it dissipates rather quickly anyway. But yeah, you get that strong lemon and orange, and it's a sweet orange. There's a sweetness to this snuff. And like I said, you get florals behind the citrus. Um, I would guess that this has a little bit of lavender in it. It might have a little violet also. Pretty sure on the lavender, but there's definitely a floral bouquet there. There's also some spice, and the closest spices that I can identify, I think there's some coriander in the snuff, and maybe even just a small bit of fennel. And that gives it kind of the oriental nature of, at the time, the Middle East would have been considered oriental to Europeans. But yeah, this if you like citrus, you should try this. This is a classic snuff. It is strong. It's not overpowering though. It's a good snuff. I appreciate it because the scent lingers. I mean, I'm still getting a lot of citrus, and I'll be getting citrus for quite a while after this. Um, the other scents, they're present, but they're in the background. This is a pretty complex snuff for an SP. I will give one warning though. If you're familiar with Wilson's of Sharrow snuffs, this one definitely has a higher nicotine content than a lot of other Wilson's snuffs have. So if you have a low nicotine tolerance, if you're sensitive, proceed with caution. But you shouldn't be scared of it. It's not that bad. But yeah, get the snuff. Give it a try. It's a classic snuff. Really worth a try. Again, this is Grand Cairo by Wilson's of Sharrow. Alright guys, have a good weekend. I'll see you later.